New
images.
York Fights is very pleased to welcome a guest on the go, a special appearance where we are catching up with the First Lady of Boxing, Cecilia Braekhus, all the way from Norway, speaking to us ahead of what is being called the final bell,
Yes,
at
yes,
least
yes.
as far as you know, your final fight, returning to the ring in your home country of Norway. And the good news is fans in the United States and around the world will be able to see your fight, a unification fight in the super welterweight division against Ema Kozin, live on UFC Fight Pass Saturday, October 4th. Welcome and thank you so much for your time. We're delighted to see you back. Although, Cecilia, it is going to delay your guaranteed entry into the International Boxing Hall of Fame, for which I will be very happy to cast my vote. I think that will put you in the class of 2028. So in June 2028, block your calendar out for a trip to Canastota, New York. How is training going? You've got a couple of weeks to go for this last fight.
Uh, Training is going great. I have, yeah, it's last week of hard training, and we have, yeah, next week, fight week, and next Saturday, fight night. Yeah.
So you're putting that polish on. You've been down this road many, many times, but you know in your mind now it is that last fight. Is there a difference as you enter this last hard week of training camp?
To be honest, not really, because I'm so focused on, getting those two belts means everything to me. I'm so focused. I'm in the bubble. Everything else is just noise. So I think when I start losing up a little bit next week from the hard training, I will start to kind of think about, this is the last fight. But to be honest, right now I'm so laser focused on my tasks in the gym, my tasks in the ring, and getting the right sleep, restitution, getting food, the right food, and everything. To be honest, it's not really much left to start thinking about. Heavy heavy stuff, like this is the last time I'm walking in the ring.
It must be a blessing, I imagine, to have all that hard work in front of you so that you aren't thinking about any of these other things. You'll have plenty of time to think about those after the fight.
Yeah, for sure. To be honest, right now it's so intense, it's not really room to think about anything else. It's just like sparring, sleeping, training, eating, and that's pretty much it right now. So it's very intense, and I'm also in Norway, so there's a lot of media. Like every day we have some kind of media or in our gym or something booked or lined up, so that also makes things extra extremely hectic days, of course, which is a good thing.
Right, because you don't have that time with your own thoughts. And I do think it's important for the United States, North American fans to recognize just what an impression you have made in Norway on boxing, on women's sports, and the the magnitude of celebrity you have there. There's just no other way to put it. You are an extremely famous athlete in Norway. I imagine in many American cities, no one would, mob you on the street, but I imagine that is something that you just simply needed to learn to deal with. But the truth is you've created a lot of this yourself because of your record, your excellence, and the fact that you had to fight to get women's boxing permitted in Norway in the first place.
Yeah, it was actually boxing, professional boxing. It wasn't women's boxing, it was actually professional boxing that was banned in
Huh?
Norway. Yeah, since
Wow.
1980. So we took down the ban, and yeah, it was illegal. Like you would go to jail if you boxed in Norway. So we took down that.
Boy, so for both men and women
Yeah,
and amateur and professional or merely professional?
just professional. Yeah.
My God, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I fought in Norway for the first time ever since 1981.
And you have not fought in Norway for quite a few years, right? This
Yeah.
is a return for you. And I imagine it was a very important thing for you to have this last fight at home.
Yeah, it was, there's just nothing that beats fighting in front of home crowd. And it was, and they also been the ones lifting me up and making it able for me to have this kind of career. So this was very, very important. Yeah.
Are you surprised because you've, of course, had all those years of battles getting your sport recognized and permitted in the first place, but it seems that the country, the fans were very ready to embrace this. Do you think that also helped push this across the line to making it legal?
Yeah, I become world champion, and people were lining up watching my fight on the television. So, and people were starting to question, why can't she fight at home, because I was able to fight outside of Norway. So we thought the same. Why can I not fight in Norway? So we took up that fight with politicians and a lot of supporters, and got that ban removed.
Well, should you choose after retirement to go into public office, you've already had
Yeah,
some practice, but we'll
yeah.
see. We'll see about that. That is also a very difficult career to pursue. It's a symbol of that you had it a little bit harder than a lot of women of your generation who didn't have to fight just to have a fight. But you are part of the current generation that has laid down a foundation for what I see as an unbelievable growth in women's professional boxing as women's sports have become more popular around the world in many ways. It, in the privacy of your thoughts when you aren't training in that last hard week, do you reflect on that? And was it something that you ever pictured when it was just a simple matter of, I just want to fight in my home country? Now there are women leading cards and filling stadiums around the world.
No, that's amazing. I'm very proud to be a part of that. Just sticking it out when it was a completely other time, and it was a very, very rough environment for women boxing all over. Just sticking it out and then paving the way for the next generation, so they don't have to go through all the bullshit that we had to.
We could do, I'm sure, many hours of discussion about that. Perhaps after you retire,
Yeah.
we will talk about that. And certainly some of those things still exist.
Mm,
The current generation of women coming up, the ones now aspiring for the first time to be champions or becoming champions,
mm.
I imagine they must have conversations with you about this. Do they appreciate the platform they now have that people like you, your opponents, and many other of your peers, you really literally did break down doors for them?
Yeah, definitely. They're appreciating that. Most of them are, for sure. A lot of, but the really new and next generation, is just hard for them to kind of like understand what we went through, how the doors were locked for us, and how we had to kick down the doors. And it's a good thing, that they don't have to think about that. But I think it's just because so much has happened in very, very short time. So it's actually hard for them to imagine the kind of situation we were in when we started.
And I suppose that's a blessing. They're going to be able to focus
Yeah,
just on fighting, which is excellent. And I don't want to talk to you as if you're retired because you are not retired yet. You
no.
are far from retired. You've got this fight coming up in a couple of weeks.
Mm.
Um, I imagine you do know your opponent fairly well. She's also a veteran. What do you expect from her in the ring and her approach when you see her on October 4th?
She's a very tough fighter. She's also a southpaw. She's strong physically. I feel like boxing wise, I'm a better boxer than her. Like when it comes to ring IQ, technique, I'm the better boxer. But she's tough as a nail, and she will never stop. So she's a world champion for a reason. She has two belts for a reason. She went to England and beat Hannah Ranking, took her belts. So it's not going to be an easy fight. It's definitely not going to be a show fight for my last one. But I think that was important.
When you were presented this fight or when you pursued this fight, did that cross your mind that, oh my gosh, I'm setting myself up here for a very tough contest? But those two belts are sitting there, within your grasp. So I imagine that was the motivator.
The two belts was the motivator for sure. Becoming world champion in two weight division class, I mean, that was I couldn't turn that down. That was that was definitely the motivation.
And how are you feeling in this division as you train toward this fight?
I feel good. I feel comfortable here. I think this is my division, uh, because going down to welterweight wasn't really an option for me anymore.
And well, that happens to a lot of fighters. Well, we've just
Yeah,
seen one fighter go up several divisions against a lot of advice and win. That must give you a little bit more motivation and proof that you're doing the right thing.
definitely. Yeah,
Very, very good. Um, you have fought all over the world. You have fought in the United States, and then some of us have been very fortunate to be able to see you fight. And, one of the boxing trivia questions that you will be the answer for forever is that you were the first women's professional fight on HBO Boxing.
yeah.
And it was at one of our favorite venues in Carson, California, against Callie Reese. I'm going to check the date, May 5th, 2018. I
Mhm.
was very happy to be there. It was a tremendous fight. The first women's fight in 45 years of broadcasting was, at the time, was the magnitude of that fight something that you'd absorbed. I think that in retrospect, it has turned out to be a much bigger event than we even knew at the time.
Yeah, no, I felt definitely it was a big, we needed to represent women boxing. That's why we chose Kelly Rice, because she was a very good and entertaining and rough fighter. So I knew she would make a hell of a fight, and we did. It was incredible, and but yeah, I definitely felt the same way I do now for my last fight. I definitely felt that this is something. Yeah, that will go down in the history books.
One of these days, when you're retired and you decide, oh, it's time for me to do an exhibition fight, I think you need to call Callie up.
Yeah.
Although she does not claim that she's retired, and I've asked her, so we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
that's one of obviously many accomplishments. But as you look back at the resume, 41 fights all over the world, is there one that stands out to you either as your favorite fight or the greatest accomplishment, short of winning these two belts on October 4th, of course?
I think maybe my first fight in Norway was incredible. My fight on HBO, but the fight where nobody believed in me, when nobody thought I was going to win, was against Anne-Sophie Matisse. So the only person, I think that the only one who thought that I would win was me and my team. There was nobody thought that I would beat her. So that was amazing.
I wondered if you were going to mention that fight, and amazingly, she was part of the most recent class inducted into the International Boxing Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
actually,
So the only reason you aren't there is that you're still out there fighting. So that was nice to see her go in as well.
yeah.
You're training with Johnathan Banks, yes, is that right? How in the world did you talk Jonathan into going to Norway?
Oh, hard. He loves Norway.
Wonderful. I
Yeah,
imagine he is quite a sight in Norway. He's a big man.
he's a big man, but no, he loves Norway, and he has a great time here. So
I
he's been.
imagine. What has Jonathan brought to you as an athlete in working with him over the years?
I think it's brought the calm I need in a ring, the footwork, my jab definitely, and it just made me very comfortable in the way I'm boxing and fighting, and yeah, with a lot of jabs, a lot of technique, and footwork, putting all that together for me for sure.
Your advice to other women now coming up at the with the benefit of all of the hindsight, um, both the fight inside the ring and the fight outside the ring. In fact, when these young fighters do come to you without the knowledge of all the history,
Mm.
what do you tell them?
I mean, just the truth, it's not going to be easy, but if you are willing to put down the work, the hard work, then it's a tremendous feeling, to succeed, to succeed, and yeah, it's going to be worth it, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard of hard work, hard of aches, blood, tears, everything. So I'm just trying to be honest with them. This is a hard sport.
Nothing worth having is easy, is it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you are in this last hard week. We're going to
Mm,
let you go back to it. We are very much looking forward to seeing you October 4th
thank you.
with a tiny bit of sadness that it is your last fight, but we're very glad to have you in the ring at least one more time. And then we're getting you on that ballot. We just have to let the clock run, Cecilia. We'll look forward to that as
I
well.
just need to become a two division champion.
That is if you weren't already a lock for the Hall of Fame, I think that would slam the door.
Thank you.
And we'd be very happy to hear. You get to hear for one more time and the new, the three
Let's
happiest
do it.
words in boxing.
Yeah, let's do it
Let's do
on
it.
October 4th.
Best of luck to you. Thank you
Thank,
for everything you've brought to boxing, and we'll continue to in 2 more weeks. So don't slack off now.
thank you so much, Gail.